All right, so we'll do a quick mic check. See who's checking in so far. Give me a quick moment. Mute this for a little bit. All right, so there we go. Hey guys. So we got 4 people on so far. We got 4 likes, 1 dislike, and I hadn't said a thing just yet. And I want to, hey Brian, how are you? Get a few things out today. We were supposed to have on the call John and Colin. Sent the Zoom information out. Maybe they'll be joining in shortly. But I'll give an update. Well, yeah, there's Colin right there. I don't know if you're joining in, Colin, or not, but I did send out an invite to you if you want to join in. There's also for John too. I sent the Zoom link out to his Discord ID. Yeah, I want to get a few things out of the way before we jump into today's conversation. It was mostly supposed to be John talking through his proposal, but it's the case. Hey, CryptoQuest. So I'll give it a couple minutes. So let me talk through a few things, and I know I've been getting bits and pieces of this from the community, like really over the past like month or so, in terms of like where's the progress in terms of updating the fake stakes, updating the chains, merging the chains. When is the fork going to happen? And I'll say it now and I'll say it again, and if you ask me, I'll say it to you one more time. This is all dependent on us getting a full-time dev in place. We need to have a dev. I'm on Zoom, however, it's not launching. Well, don't worry about it, Colin. For the most part, it seems like it'll be a conversation day, unless you were going to talk through your proposal for LGS, but for the most part, it was going to be Jean's day to talk through his proposal to the community. So what I'll do, instead of that, if John isn't able to join the call, I'll clarify a few things that community members have had, particularly over the past like month or so, in terms of like ever since we had Vlad leave the project. So one of the main things has been filling that gap. I've been paying a contract dev to do work on our blockchain. He's done some work. As I mentioned to the community, I think past maybe 2 or 3 calls ago, it's the case that he has made updates to the blockchain in his local environment. According to what he's done, he feels comfortable, but he has been looking for another competent dev outside of the community who could come in and review the code before being in a position to launch it. At the same time, we did have one member of our community. He's been with us from the beginning, King Kong, or Brenimir. He's taking a look at the issue around the fake states and trying to leverage his network to get devs in. And just to summarize the situation, it's the case that we have an old version of PivX, not the most recent version of PivX. Because of that, the fix that's been implemented for fake stakes for the most recent version of PivX is not the same version that the LPC and LGS community uses, or what we use. So as a result, it's not a fix that is readily available. And that was even the thing that Excellent, the contract dev, who we brought on, who implemented a fix, said it was something where we have an older version of PivX that's not necessarily, where a fix is not readily available on the web. That's why the edits and adjustments that he's made, he's requiring a dev. I know people have been asking, well, you said you were going to do fake stakes last week. Well, that was the initial, and going all the way back 2 to 3 weeks ago, that was the timeline that I was given, until it was the case that Excellent said that he needed to have another set of eyes on it. And what we and here's basically what could happen. If I said, okay, Excellent, forget the review. Let's go ahead and push your fix out. It compiles. We're able to put out instructions to the community, roll out both chains for an LGS fix, LPC fix. Say hour, 2 hours, or a day later, or even a week later, the whole thing crashes. And now it's the case that we have a totally non-functional blockchain. That's a scenario that I don't want. That's something that I definitely do not want to happen, considering that we have operational pilots that are happening with our corporate partners with Lumina and its blockchain projects. Actually, a few blockchain projects that they are actually pushing through. That's on production. That's on the production LPC chain now. I would not want to be in a situation where I take that risk. I'd rather you all say, hey, you said you want to do something, you hadn't done it, but yet I'll pause to let the dev, contract dev, and the person he brings in to review it be in a position where they feel comfortable making that release or pushing out that release. So in an abundance of caution, that's why we've been in a position where it's been the same thing week after week. And I know people have been asking me, well, you said you were going to do a fake stakes update. Well, surprise, guys. No, it hasn't been done. The update hasn't been done because of the review. And I'll say it again, because of the review. And another thing that's been out in the community as well, and I'm just addressing some issues that have been coming out to me. Another issue was around it's slipping off the top of my head, because there's a third issue. I'll just mention the third issue, and maybe the other one will come back. Well, the third issue is around the proposals that we're putting forth for enacting the releasing funds via the super blocks. That is Masternode budget proposals. Actually, what we're talking about today. There was a person in the community, a very long-standing member of the community, very solid person who's been here from the beginning. This individual mentioned that we are in a position where Masternode funds that can be taken from the Masternode blocks, it will be pilfered. And I want to explain a little bit about the Masternode budget proposals and how they work. At a high level, this is a decentralized autonomous organization. It's decentralized or distributed in the sense that we have Masternode owners around the world who could vote on projects. They can vote on projects to be approved. The community approves these projects. They read the proposals. If they like the proposal, they would vote for it. If there's at least 10% of the community that's voting on a project, and let's, for instance, go to the LPC chain, even though I can go to the LGS chain and do it as well, we have 3,642 masternodes that are active at this point. With 3,642 masternodes that are active, we need at least 364 masternodes voting in one way or another in order to approve a Masternode budget proposal or a project. So today we're going to have John, who is going to talk about the LPC Venezuela proposal. which at the end of the day, it's roughly about 5K per month for the next few months. I mean, I know a lot of you may say, "Oh, that's a lot of money to be given out for the team," but at the same time, he has a rationale in terms of what he's proposing, the deliverables for that work. And here's the thing: if the proposal under a hypothetical situation, if it were approved, that is, we have at least 364 masternodes voting for that project, and it is approved. Say the next month we see no deliverables, we see no progress, we see no work being done at all, no updates. Like for instance, if he had an update to give today and he's not here, and you all as individual Masternode owners, you feel that you wanted to rescind your vote or take away the ability for that project or the LPC Venezuela project to receive funds, you can log on to your wallet and you can rescind your vote. When you rescind your vote, if it's at the point where there are no longer a majority of masternodes voting for that proposal month, and this is each and every month, you could rescind your vote, and as a consequence, that next month, that project that you initially voted yes for, then you subsequently voted down, or you change your vote from yay to nay, that budget won't get approved for the upcoming month. So, to restate, your votes are live. They're constantly live month over month. And you could rescind your vote on any project moving forward. So there was one member of the community who initially thought funds would get pilfered or would be stolen either by management or some other entity. I don't know who they had in mind. The only way that those funds would get stolen is if everyone who voted no longer, each and every month, they no longer vote they rescind their vote. If they don't rescind their vote, the funds will constantly get paid. But if it's the case that the majority of the people in the community who recognize that there's no progress, they can take their vote back, and the budget will not get approved for the next month. And that will continue to be the case. So if that next month there's no funding, but the individual gets on a call and say, "Oh yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll push hard, and I'm sorry I missed the last call. I want to. I'll do better. I'll show some deliverables." Then they could take the funds. They can vote to approve it for the next month. But then say the next month the same thing happens. 3 months down the line, they rescind their vote, so that project no longer receives funding. And at a certain point, you may go back and forth. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. So it's the case that you vote and you could rescind your vote at any point in time. So there's no possible way that with an active community like what we have, that someone could take advantage of the DAO or take advantage of the Masternode budgets that we put forth. And once again, the budgets don't have to be from me. In the case of the one that's was being proposed today for LBC Venezuela, that was for presented by John. And it would be the case in his proposal when he presents it, the payment address where the funds will be sent. It's the case that there's a multi-sig wallet where there are members of, including myself, Colin, and other members of the community that will actually have to approve the release of the funds on that multi-sig wallet. So you have a couple of controls in place. One is that the community each and every month can come back and rescind their vote if they don't like how a project is proceeding, or if it's not meeting benchmarks. And at the same time, there's a multi-sig wallet where individuals within the community, including myself, would have to approve for the release of certain funds within that month. So you have multiple layers of controls, checks and balances in place where if you don't like a project, pull your vote. If you like a project, vote for it, move it forward so that that project can receive funding. So there's no possible way that the community could be taken advantage of, because once again, you're in control. And I want to dispose of the myth that this is a centralized entity. And it's not a centralized entity. It is a decentralized entity, even though you all see me and you say, well, Damon's the face and nothing happens without Damon. Well, that's not necessarily true. Believe it or not, at the end of the day, I'm a community member just like you all. I own LPC just like everyone here. But it's the case, I help to manage the repository. I manage the repository. I make sure that there's no one who's going to do something malicious to the repository. There's not going to be anyone who pushes some malicious code into the repository. So I have the keys and I have two-factor auth on the accounts. So there's nothing going to happen to the LightPayCoin blockchain or the OGS blockchain. When those forks happen, it will happen when we have the devs in place, the full-time devs in place. Now, it's because through the LPC Venezuela, we are sourcing devs and having interviews with the devs through LPC Venezuela before they are full-time devs working on our blockchain, just to understand our roadmap and what we're doing. So it looks as if John is not joining. He's not on yet. I don't see him. So I did want to answer some questions because we do have that have the questions around the Masternode budget proposals, the possibility that the 4 million LBC will be stolen by the community. It's nonsense at the end of the day, and I think the person who did it didn't necessarily do research, nor did they ask questions. And when I challenged that person and I actually communicated with them one-on-one, they had nothing to say in regards to the community, nothing in terms of how funds would get stolen. As at the point, I just put it out there, and I even explained it. I think it was even on Twitter as well. But I just want you guys to understand, you all are in control. You all can vote. If you have a masternode, you can vote. If you have multiple masternodes, you can vote as many times as you have masternodes. If you don't like how a project is progressing month over month, you can rescind your vote. And if it switches and it goes from majority approved or it drops under 10%, then it's the case that project doesn't move forward. It doesn't get any funding moving forward. But this is something that we have to just think about logically, and building a decentralized autonomous organization and being run as such. Anyone here, any one of you guys can put forth a proposal if you think it's worthy, if you think it's something that you want to talk about, and that's what we're doing now with the proposal with John for LPC Venezuela. This is something that we all agree upon. At least there's some consensus amongst the people that I know that the LPC project in Venezuela is something that we should do. So I can go on and on about that. I'll ask for your feedback at this point if you have any questions. But if you don't have any questions, I'll move into some of the things that I was mentioning earlier. We will wrap up making the fix to both chains on the fake stakes fix when we have the dev who is able to come in and review the work that Excellent has done. So we have a contract dev that I'm paying out of my own pocket to do that work. And at the same time, he's now leveraging his network to bring in another dev to review what he's done to make sure that when we launch the update or we launch the fix, it's something that The chain will not break. It will not go down. We don't want it to go down because, as I mentioned before, that's the last thing that I want to do in terms of the current operational projects that we have going on right now. We have a pilot that's going on like real time with Lumina. So it's the case that I'm not going to pull the trigger on anything unless we have that third-party review. So I'm deferring to the judgment of the dev in order to get it done. Brenimir, a member of our community, has also done some work and realized that there isn't a quick fix out there. So now, in retrospect, looking at what Vlad had done initially, it wasn't all that bad, even though it's the case that the stakes have been reduced on the LGS chain. And that was something that was a consequence of that fake stakes fix that he implemented, which was based upon his best judgment. So, and I can go on, and you guys can beat me up all day about, you said you were going to do something like several weeks ago and you hadn't done it. At the same time, we got like 3 or 4 different Discord channels. Hell, we probably got like 4 or 5 if you want to put it out there. I think at the end of the day, moving to one or having one Discord channel, personally for me, the way that I see the Discord channels operating now, they're more pessimistic than optimistic. It takes effort and funds to maintain because there's members who constantly ask for funds for being a moderator in a channel. And for me, considering where we are in showing some monetary constraint, because it's the case that I'm not going to pay out of my pocket all day to maintain a community maintain a channel that's primarily pessimistic. But I think voice should be there, so there should be a channel for you all to communicate. But I think we should have people who really want to be in the community moderate those channels. So. And that's where we are so far. So now I'll move on to some more positive things that are happening with LPC, even though I spent like a good almost, that was a long time, almost 20 minutes talking about that, 20, 30 minutes. Okay, we have this upcoming week, excuse me, this upcoming week starting on in about 8 days in the state of Texas, in Dallas, there's an event that's called the Dallas Startup Week, and this event is profiling some of the top startups in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. With that being said, there are actually several events several activities taking place. Several speakers. You have Craig Hall, who is the chairman and founder of Hall Group, which is also he's also the owner of Hall Office Park, where our building is located, where our office is located. So it's Hall Office Park in Dallas, Texas. He'll be there. Mark Cuban will be there. There'll be the mayor will be there as well. A lot of high-profile individuals within the Dallas-Fort Worth area will be at the event. We will be profiled there as well. We'll be profiled at the startup week, I think on Monday, but there's an event that we will be attending. I think that will be on Sunday as well. So what we will be doing, we will have the ATM machines, we will have the point of sale device, and we will have brochures around exchange and LPC and the LightPay coin project, and some of the things that we have. And I'll be profiling the XPay Xcert feature within the exchange platform here as well. So it's the case our ATM will be on display. One of the things I'm working through now is just the logistics around the Ethernet connections, because we need an Ethernet connection in order for the ATMs to work. Same thing as well for the point of sale device as well. So this is an event that's sponsored by a bank of all things, but hey, it's publicity for us at the end of the day. If we're able to get out there and people find out who LPC is, what we're doing in the space, and just let people know that the cryptocurrency space is growing. We're part of it, and we're not going anywhere. So I think it's a great event for us to really profile. I have my shirt, slacks on, and like I said, the ATM and the point of sale devices. And we will just tell about all the great things that we've done in 10 months. Once again, the partnerships with UCF, the partnership with Lumina, the ATM machine that's operational that you can buy right now. If you want to buy one, give us a call, put in your order. Less than 45 days, 30 to 45 days, you have your ATM in your location. And that's one thing. I shouldn't be the one pushing this. I shouldn't be the only one pushing this. We're a community. We're a decentralized community, so you should do your part as well. Every opportunity that you have, if you go into a store, ask, hey, when are y'all using cryptocurrency? Are you interested in using a point of sale device or an ATM machine? Of course. Hey, let me give you my card, or let me put you in contact with the guy over at Exchange. He can get you a point of sale device that you can use within your organization. That would be great. Those are the types of things that we're looking for, and I shouldn't necessarily be the only one doing it. So I strongly encourage you guys, be active in growing your community. I know there's could be some folks calling this project and me and the team members everything except a son of God, but at the end of the day, I'm going to continue to push. I would strongly encourage you guys to get out there and be positive. Talk up your community. Talk what we've done. And even though we've gone through our bumps, and we have our boosts, and that's going to happen in any organization. So let's be at the point where we shine the light on the things that we've done, to shore up the areas where we need to have shored up. And then let's, as in the military, what they say, anytime that you complete a mission, then you go on to the next mission. C is for Charlie, and C is for continue. M is for Mike. M is for mission. So continue mission. So Charlie, Mike. That's what we want to do. So now, yeah. There's been an article. Yeah, Dave, I saw that as well. And we have that actually here. So this is an issue that we're monitoring as well. Where was the report is a wrapped serial attack. From what I understand about this particular vulnerability in the PIVX code, it affects the zero coin protocol. Now, when I looked at the code, and had the interactions with B, Brennemere, and also with Excellent. Now, zero coin protocol version 2, yeah. So zero coin version 2 protocol. We are not on that protocol. We're not using that zero coin version 2 protocol. So we are safe in that sense, considering that we have an older version of the fork, the older version of the fork of PIVX. So in that regard, it does not affect LPC LGS. So we are safe in that regard. So thank you for bringing that up, Dave. I had it here, and I think I was going to talk about it in terms of the issues with the version 2 protocol, because the fake stakes is really one of the things that's happened has a vulnerability with the V2 protocol. There are a few things, not just the fake stakes. Now you have the wrap serial attack that happens. Just the impact, just to explain what this particular attack is. It doesn't impact the privacy of the user. It doesn't necessarily impact your holdings, but theoretically, what it does, it is an attack which actually creates more Z coin, or increments of the Z coin. So it creates more than what's actually, a little more than what's actually there. PIVX has really an unlimited supply of PIVX coin, or ZPIV. But it's the case when you're minting ZPIV at a rate at which that's higher than normal, it inflates the market, theoretically inflates the market. Right now, from what I understand, there's been about, I think, less than 1,000 I think it was about 1,700 and some change ZPIV. Let me look through here. Not right here. So it's spending about is a creation? Yeah, no, a little bit. No, I'm sorry, about 438,000 out of thin air. So it created about almost $500,000 out of thin air. Um, so it's the issue. That's another concern for the version 2 protocol of the zero coin, which we have not implemented, which actually opens projects that run the zero coin version 2 protocol, fake stakes, and this warped or wrapped serial attack. I'm sorry if I pronounce it. I'm all over the place. I'm dyslexic, guys. So at the end of the day, this issue doesn't impact us. But, and this is one of the initial things that I was talking about with the fake stakes as well, because we did not implement the zero coin version 2 protocol. I really wanted a way where someone could replicate an error, because I'm not a high speed low drag dev, but I do program in Java, C++, a little bit, and a lot of Python. So a little bit of C++. But it's the case in when you create a fix, or when you have a particular problem, you must be able to consistently replicate or duplicate the error, or duplicate what the bug is. And one of my main concerns, and I pushed this out to the community, and a lot of folks beat me up, and I think some folks came back and said, well, y'all need to do what everybody else has done already. Well, what everybody else has done is really adjusted one fix to be exposed to another exploit in the V2 protocol. I was asking the question over and over again. How can we replicate the issue so that we know what we've done actually fixes the issue? And that's never been provided by anyone. So it's something that I constantly look for in the community. But yeah, for the most part, this fix, this wrap serial attack, it doesn't impact us at all, because we're not on the zero coin version 2 protocol. But thanks for bringing that up. But I did have it up, but I was going through and rambling and just missing things. So that's the problem. One of the issues that's faced here, as I mentioned again, we won't have that push out or that update until that second dev comes in. At the same time, I'll feel comfortable once that second dev comes through and does that review and can make that push. So I feel pretty good about that. At the same time, in terms of the Masternode budget proposals, you have to have a majority vote, 10% of the Masternodes to come in and vote to actually approve a budget. It's the case, once you vote, you could rescind your vote at any point in time. So that if it's going from month after month, then the budget will not be approved if it does not have A, 10%, or B, of a majority of the votes in favor of a proposal. So those funds will not get paid out. So there's no way to really exploit funds coming out of super blocks. So that's not necessarily possible. But at the same time, like I said, on the positive side, we are at Dallas Startup Week in about 8 days. Really, Sunday is when the events start. So we will have our booth. We will have paraphernalia. We'll have some the POS, the ATM machine, some pamphlets about like some of the case studies that we've done so far, some of the things that we've done. Being able to post messages on IPFS, being able to send encrypted messages and crypto at the same time through the XPay, which at this point, guys, yes, I'm locking myself in a corner, considering all of the mess that we've been going through over these past few weeks, to get this out on Dallas Startup Week. So to have people ask questions. So I think this is ask questions about us, what we're doing, and like I said before, it's not only me, but you have a responsibility yourselves to be a proactive member of the community. Any opportunity you could talk about crypto, you can. So I constantly, when I go to the store, and one question I immediately ask, when are y'all moving to crypto? And they can say, huh? But if now that provides an opportunity for education, if they say, huh? But they go ahead and say something along the lines of, I don't think we're there yet. If you do, guys, I'll keep checking back. I'll keep checking back every other week or so and seeing when y'all get ready to move in that direction. Well, we got a manager. You can talk to him. I say, great. I love to talk to your manager. So I do that at the gas stations. Not saying that's a place where we want to put our ATMs, even though some competitors in the DFW area that manufacture cryptocurrency ATMs, they're placing their ATMs in like truck stops, places where smash and grabs are prevalent. Not a lot of foot traffic. So what we're looking for is high density areas like malls, um, like little strip malls, and we're looking for like some of the traditional malls with high foot traffic, where we would have increased opportunity for people wanting to purchase crypto. And I think this Dallas Startup Week event is a great event for us to really put what we've done over the past 10 months on display and have people ask questions. So 15 folks online. If you get a chance, go ahead and hit the subscribe. So when we do have any videos that come out, you can go ahead and you can go ahead and get the alerts when we come online like we do now. So all the same, what is the fate of LGS coin? Despite the vote, the coin has a great idea, and if there's a good development team and a new traffic map, it can be raised. Yes, it can. I do believe in that. And as I mentioned before, the sole rollout of Exchange completes the development for the completes the development of the technical work around the infrastructure for LGS. If you read charts, you'll see how everyone is tired of the uncertainty that lasts for months. Yeah, it is, and there is some evidence right now that the market is still like going sideways a bit. But the way I think we can continue to push that is like people like yourself in the community who have those conversations about wanting to do things with cryptocurrency or accept cryptocurrencies in businesses. Cryptocurrency adoption is not going to happen until you get businesses involved, not just the banks, but also you're talking about your mom and pop shops. You're talking about your medium and small size businesses, entrepreneurs. So and this is one of the things about the 100 Partners program. We want a position where we want to partner. We want to bring on companies. We want to bring on startups who want to use cryptocurrency. We're interested in helping to build out LPC. And that's a great way we can have LGS really move forward, because as I mentioned before, the Expose application and the Exert application fulfills the core, some of the core development around the Exchange application. At that point, anyone could put a layer on top where they connect a mobile app to the Exchange or Exert application, and then could begin to track and trace any product via API. So that's one of the things to have, and that's one of the things that I really look forward for. Yeah, and that's one of the main concerns why I really would have liked John to be on tonight. He did mention that he may or may not be on because he was traveling. I think Friday. We had a call yesterday. It was me, Colin, and John. We had a conversation. He said he should be in, but it's the case that he hadn't made it in. But I did want to explain the Masternode budget proposal process, because we had some community members just openly just like blast and just tried to call, they didn't necessarily call the project a scam, but at the end of the day just said we were going to misallocate those funds. But like I said, it's driven by the community, and it's the community at the end of the day who will determine our success. Yeah. So, like I said, this week I'll be preparing for the Dallas Startup Week. At the same time, the portion of the exchange site is we've wrapped up the two-factor authentication. We've wrapped up the excerpt portion, the XPay portion, the the viewer, the actually not the viewer, but the explorer. This upcoming week, I'm just going to pay out of my own funds to get official explorers up for the LPC and any other project LGS on the exchange to have a reliable explorer that's up, so we're not maintaining that. So it's going to be a one-time pay for the LGS LPC Explorer, and it's done, and we don't have to maintain that anymore. And that will be integrated in the portion of the XPay, so you can see those transactions as well. And that's a critical part of the XPay portion. But at the same time, it's important as well for the excerpt when you're able to post messages to IPFS. It posts and it registers that posting to the respective blockchains, and the messages, encrypted or encrypted, can be read by anyone who has their passkey, or they're using the PGP encryption. So that's where we are. It's 9:13. I know I've been running my mouth all day. Not that many questions. I know we have some. The fate of LGS. The LGS, once we have a solid dev team, I'd like to, and my position is being able to pull LGS into LPC, still keep the roadmap, Um, yeah. Still keep the roadmap, but then pull in that team into the LPC project. So now they'll be able to, anyone on the LPC side will be able to come into LGS side, will be able to come into LPC and then have a coiner project on the swap, and then be able to use the ATMs or directly cash out with LPC. Masternode, everything is also indicated old site. I know, yeah, I think I started some of the updates as well. We haven't made, or because we have to update all of our, not only Masternodes Online, but also the other web hosting services, shared node services, CoinMarketCap, and any of the other exchanges that have the old information. So it's a loop that we have to make. And like I said, the team is relatively small, one person at a time. But anything that you can do, and I can delegate out to you. If anyone wants to use my name and contact a particular organization to update with the new website and any of the new information, just feel free, and I'll sign off on anything that needs to be signed off if it makes sense. So, and that's where we are right now. So I appreciate your time, guys. It's about 9:15. Spent about 45 minutes, 15 minutes more than what I should. We should get through these like in 30 minutes. Shouldn't be a 1 hour call. But I do appreciate your time this week. We have some great things happening. We should finish out the Yobit listing. Their top 75. They're much higher volume than Cryptopia. And they're coming back too. So now there are about 40 markets on Cryptopia that's currently open. If we can get our market open, say within the next couple weeks or so, that'll be great. Then we'll have, within the next 2 weeks or so, Yobit operational, Cryptopia operational, and we'll have our Bittrex application in review again. And then it should look pretty good, and considering that the explorers will be up, exchange fully operational, and now it's just a position that we have to go out, approve Masternode budget proposals, collect unit economics, and then we can take it from there. So getting the team, it's the main thing is being able to get the new dev team in place so that we can actually put a plan together for getting that swap taken care of, and then at that point we can really start pushing hard. And Dave, once again, he's basically said, yeah, airports have high foot traffic, yeah, and that's another area too. CoinLogic, I think they have a machine in Atlanta International Airport. So it'd be great if we can get to maybe, and there are 2 airports here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, actually 3, no, 4. There's one right up there road, there's an executive airport, and then there's Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, and then Love Field Airport. All have high foot traffic, so those are some options as well. Once we feel comfortable pushing these out and see what kind of reception we get at Dallas Startup Week, we'll start having those conversations with the folks at the airports to get the first one in the U.S. Operational on a consistent basis in either one of those airports or in a mall. So malls are kind of, I don't know, they have some weird terms in terms of where you put the ATMs and what do you need, like some type of either office space that you need to get to have an ATM, or you just have it out in the open space. I say I want to be put right beside. I want to be right beside the bank's ATMs. That'll be great. But the bank's ATMs, they're about a good 1,000 pounds or so. So if anybody tried to take a machine, that's going to be difficult to do. Ours is about 250 in terms of how much it weighs. So it's the case, it's kind of light. So we have to find ways to where we mount it down and get insurance, things of that nature. So all this goes into the cost, the total cost of ownership. And at the same time, once we have the total cost of ownership and we have our foot traffic, we can really determine how feasible is this to having reduced fees being paid, being reduced fees by having a Masternode ATM in place. So it's all about, and perhaps at some point in time we may need to modify that business model, but yet that's the theoretical model that we're executing and that's the working model that we're executing on at this point in time. We may have to adjust. So with that basically said, guys, I think this was a decent call. Just want to give you an update, even though John, I really wanted him to walk through the proposal. So he'll be here definitely next week, and I'm just going to be on just to moderate the call. So thank you for your time, guys, and then we'll talk next week. Take care. Bye.